Hi guys, welcome back after a while. So today is our another live session, and as you can see in the descriptions of this event, and as I told you before, I decided to record two different live streams. For the first 2 hours I will speak English only, and then from 8 p.m. I will see and talk to all the Polish artists. Shall we turn on the presentation? Okay, so today I don't really want to show you another model or my work on my client. I would like you to practice and get rid of all the bad habits that you have or you might get from your work. So today we will talk about 3 different eyebrow techniques: ombre brows, powdered brows, and insta brows. And I know that I could mention other names because on all the social media accounts and groups you might see advertisement from different academies, artists or individual trainers. Yes, and I know that if you are a beginner you might get confused. And also today I would like to share with you some tips and tricks how to edit your photos of your work by using 3 apps available on every phone, either it's iPhone or Android phone. I will also show you simple exercises that will allow you to learn all the correct movements that you will be able to use whenever you do eyebrows, eyeliner or lips. Okay? Yes, and as you can see on the slide, practice is the key to your success. So with this video, of course, it will be saved on my YouTube channel and my Facebook account. You will be able to always go back to this video, yes, and practice with me whenever you find some time, some free time. First, and the most important rule that you should follow and you should remember is that you should follow the customer footprints. Always think like a client and never think like your competitor, okay? And by saying that, I would like to tell you that you should put yourself in your client's shoes. Think about how you treat your clients when she contacts you, when she wants to book her appointment, when she contacts you via messenger or any text message, when she calls your salon, how you treat her, how you talk to her. Do you give her enough information about the procedure? These are the answers that these are the questions that you should answer to yourself. And with next slide, this is something that we really truly believe is: don't be jealous, never be jealous, and be inspired. If your competitor does very good work, just think what she like, what it's just look at her business and think what you could learn from her and how you could make your business better. Okay, your emotions, your energy should be clean, and this way we will start this live. Of course, I'm not sure if already we have some questions, but I would like to say hello to all the viewers. I know that because of the time zones, different time zones, it's very difficult to like catch at the same time and watch this video live, this live stream. But hopefully you will enjoy it and you will always be able to go back to this live stream. Philip will tell me if there are any questions, yes? Okay, look at the screen and analyze. This is the scheme that we always follow. Either I organize workshops for my students around Poland, or I teach them at my academy. All of them, they know that knowing what's right and what's wrong when it comes to pigmentation, it's not enough. Many artists present or demonstrate very beautiful work on social media accounts, but some of you might not get enough clients even when your work is good. And you should follow each point from this presentation. And we always start with consultation. And you should ask yourself when you meet with your client for the first time. Is it when your client comes to your salon? Not really. Your client will make a phone call to your salon, will contact you via Messenger or Instagram, and this is your first one-to-one with your client, okay? So you should make sure that you answer to all the questions that your client might have. About the procedure, about the price, about the aftercare, and yes, build the trust between you and your client. Philip, you have to tell me if I have any questions, okay? Deal? Okay. The next point are pre-treatment actions. I'm not gonna talk to you about every point. Unfortunately, we don't have that much time because today I want to focus mainly on training and exercises. But with pre-treatment actions, you have to remember about making sure that your clients feel happy and safe at your place, okay? And that clients trusted you. With ombre technique, our possibilities are endless. I know that we have different techniques on the market. Microblading is, I think, the most popular technique in the world. But from the experience and within a time, I believe that people know that it's not suitable technique for every skin type, okay? And with ombre technique, this technique you can use for any client with any skin type and at any age. So it's suitable for every client, okay? And we choose technique depending on the client's skin type, age, the effect that we want to achieve, client appearance, and client expectation. You have to talk to your client if she wants to achieve more visible, like more enhanced eyebrows, or very soft, delicate eyebrows. What you should remember, as you know, the most important part of the procedure is pre-drawing. And what you should remember about the pre-drawing is that you cannot use too dark pencil, okay? Don't use black pencils, don't use white pencils to outline the brows. With pre-drawing, you should visualize the final effect to your clients. And I tell you that in every video that you can find on my YouTube channel. And this is very important. You have to build the trust between you and your clients. Don't tell your client that, okay, don't worry, I know it's black, I know it's too thick, but it will look better after we finish the procedure, because obviously, anyway, when we finish the procedure, the outcome, the final effect is darker, yes? So there is a huge difference between the before and after. And if you tell your client with, like, when you finish the pre-drawing, that they don't have to worry, that the eyebrows won't be that dark, they start to trust you, they lie down for 2 hours, and then you show them in the mirror and they are disappointed, okay? So you have to make sure that the pre-drawing, with the pre-drawing, you will visualize the final effect to your client. And also make sure that client fully accepts the shape you propose, okay? Shape and form. I know that we might take it as a compliment that when we give our client the mirror and they don't even want to check the pre-drawing because they trust you. Remember that your client will carry your permanent work. I always take my client to take the mirror and properly look at the eyebrows, check the beginning, the length of the eyebrows, if the tail is not lower than the bulb, if they are like the shape, if the thickness is okay for them, and I always ask them what they really expect from me as an artist. Okay, hello Brazil, Canada, Vietnam, New York, Hawaii, Miami, Poland. We see each other in 2 hours time as well. Scotland, Austria, Netherlands. Okay, I didn't expect that so many will join me at 6 p.m. But yes, welcome. And please prepare your machines and latex, and so you have everything ready when I finish the presentation, okay? Coming back to the pre-drawing, if you use threads for pre-drawing, please make sure that you wipe off all the lines that you don't need, you don't need them, okay? Why? Clients don't understand what they can see on their faces, and here are some examples, okay? I know that on Instagram many pictures with this technique of measurement, eyebrows measurement, look very nice, yes, with clean lines, with white dots in between. They look neat. From artist's point of view, I'm impressed, and yes, it looks very artistic. But if the client look in the mirror, she only wants to see eyebrows, the final drawing, final result. And this is very difficult technique of measuring the eyebrows for beginners, because even when they try to make the line straight, very often pre-drawing takes 1 hour time or 1.5 hours of their time. They start to be very, maybe not angry, but upset with the pre-drawing, and clients get stressed, okay? So please remember that the final result should visualize the final effect. And as you can see, it doesn't look really good. Here it looks, wait a second. Here it looks a little bit better, but still, if you use thread, please fill in the brow, wipe off all the lines that you don't need, okay? I want to check if there are any questions or not really. Okay, remember, there is a question, very good question, and I'm happy that you ask questions, and this is the time when you can, okay? What if your client asks you for very thin eyebrows? I had 2 ladies like this, turn them away, and you did good. Remember that you are artist, and every client is your advertisement. You are an artist, and you should do what is right. So you have to remember about the proportions and all the correct aspects of micropigmentation, okay? It's so early in California. Welcome, California. I will see you in September. Yeah, I think we can go to another slide. So, For the pre-drawing, if you know my channel, I use labels, measurement label that allows me and also my students to find the right shape of the eyebrows. Yes, it's a very easy technique, and I believe the fastest way of finding the right shape for the client. And as I told you in my previous videos, brow, what you should remember is brow is nothing else but wait a second, because I changed my slides too fast. Okay, for the pre-drawing, remember that brow is nothing else than 4 straight lines with only round area under the arch, on the arch, with very soft beginning. Okay, the measurements depending on the face shape, as you know from my previous live or videos. If the brow starts at 1 centimeter, the highest point will be at 4.5, and the tail will finish at 7. And if the brow starts at 1.5, the highest point will be at 5, and the brow will finish at 7.5. Beginning of the brow, the bottom of the brow should be flat. Never bring the eyebrow down, okay? The client will look very angry and it won't look natural. Yes, and with permanent makeup we enhance beauty of our clients, and we don't make dramatic eyebrows. Yes, it's not evening makeup. Tail of the brow should never be lower than the bulb. This is also one of the rules that you should remember, and you should always check when you finish your pre-drawing. Coming back to this slide. So, we mark the beginning, arch and tail, and I use flat pencil, and you have to remember that pencil should be sharp and shouldn't be too hard or too soft, okay? Then we mark, yes? Yes. Then we mark bottom of the eyebrows, starting from the middle of the label. Yes, so we're moving from the label towards the beginning of the eyebrow on both sides. Okay. Next, we remove the label from forehead of your client and never throw it away. Stick it somewhere on the table, on your working table. Place pencil on the side of your client's forehead and slowly slide it, okay? Drag it on your client's forehead, not slide it, drag it. Yes, slide, tak, okay? Then we fill in the brows. We don't mark the top part of the brows, okay? So don't create frame of the brows. Start to create the final effect of the brows. This is the time of the procedure when you become artist. You have to visualize the final effect by looking at your client's face, okay? It's very good if you stand behind of your client and ask your client to bring her chin up, okay? Place your palms in between the eyebrows, pull the skin up to the forehead and check if the bottom are symmetrical and on the same level. You can also check the length of the eyebrows and the height of the arch. And as you can see on the presentation, I didn't mark beginnings. Yes, fully I didn't mark the beginnings. Why? Because usually when your clients look in the mirror, they ask if the brow will be that thick or the beginning will be that harsh. Yes. So what I do, I use clean cotton swab, dry cotton swab, and I smudge it. So I create very soft beginning. Okay? Okay, Philip brought me some questions from you on the screen, and before I move further, I think I would prefer to answer all of them. Okay? I take so long when doing pre-drawing. How can I do it faster? First of all, you have to do it step by step. And remember that you cannot rush. Of course, before you do pre-drawing, you have to twist and shape eyebrows of your client, okay? And if you follow the rules, so first you find the central part of the face of your client, stick the ruler, mark the bulb, and as I told you before, if the bulb starts at 1, then arch is 4.5, tail at 7, and so on. You can, by following the rules, for sure the pre-drawing won't take you that long, okay? So I believe that this video will be helpful. Do you just work over the pencil? Yes, I do. I always do, many artists do, and I never had any problems with that. Of course, we disinfect the skin, clean the skin of the client, and also sharpen and disinfect the pencil, yes? And another question I will answer later in the video. Okay, so we have the pencil, we have the shape. I always make the middle part of the brows of the client darker, yes? When you think about the final result of your powdered brows, always the bottom part of the brows and the tail is darker. You should do the same with the pre-drawing, yes? So make sure you make this middle part darker. And concealer. Here you can see that I use flat pencil as always, and concealer. You can use any kind of concealer as long as it's thick, okay? And make sure that you place it and you outline the brows exactly on the edge of your pre-drawing, okay? This is very important. One like bottom part of spinka nie działa. Bottom part of the eyebrows, if I can have pictures on the screen. Bottom part of the eyebrows, we mark sitting on the right side of your client. To make outlining easier, to outline the top part of the brows, move to another side of the bed, as you can see on the first photo, yes, on the presentation on the screen. This way you will not smudge your pre-drawing. On another slide you can see common mistake. If you see or if you look from this perspective at the brow of your client, make sure that the bottom part is straight. Going back to our first slide, eyebrow, from definition, eyebrow is nothing else than 4 straight lines with the round area on the top and round area on the bottom part of the brows and soft beginning. So this is something that you should remember at this stage when you do the pre-drawing, okay? And make sure that you outline the brow very precisely. And when our pre-drawing is finished, as always, to prevent smudging or smearing, we use translucent powder, yes? So place the translucent powder over your pre-drawing. Don't be scared. You can place more of the product, yes? And after placing the product, slightly like wipe it off, okay? And by doing that, you won't lose your pre-drawing during the procedure. What brand of pencil do you prefer? The pencil should be not too soft, not too hard. This is very important, yes. So you can use any pencil from any drugstore, or you can find any companies that have their own pencils. Of course, the pencil that we use is available at our store, so you are also more than welcome to order it. And with this presentation, I would like to answer some of the most common questions I get under all the videos on YouTube, yes? So what is the length of the needle, how deep is my work, what's the speed of my machine, and how do you make this look so easy, and so on. Questions, tons of questions. First, very important thing that you should remember. Length of the needle has nothing to do with the depth of your work. If I say that I work with 1.7 millimeters needle, okay, it doesn't mean that I place the whole needle in the skin of my client, okay? I work only with the tip of the needle, and depending on the type of the machine that you have, first of all, you should learn how to use your machine. With acupuncture needles, yes, acupuncture machines, you know that the noses, the tips for the machines are very thin. And if you use too thick pigment and your needle is too long, the pigment doesn't come out of the cartridge of this top, I don't know. So you have to learn how to use your machine, and you have to see on the skin if the machine distributes the pigment evenly. Okay? Is everything clear? Is everything clear for now? Let me know if you have any questions so far. Yes, I do the same mapping for microblading and concealer, because it stays outside of your actual area on which you work, doesn't get in the skin, really. Any questions? I already answered this question. Okay. What you have to remember is that you cannot work chaotically. This is a very common mistake. Don't rush. Don't jump from one eyebrow to the other. Work step by step. When you finish your work, by looking at your client, you should clearly know if she will need a correction, and if you made any mistakes, you should see them, okay? So please don't rush. Make sure that your work is clean. I know that we are artists, but in our field, you are not Picasso, okay? So don't jump from brow to brow. Follow the rules, step by step. Remember also to stretch the skin. When you stretch the skin, you minimize the vibration on the surface of the skin. Okay? I'm trying to read the questions because there are many, especially on YouTube. There is a question about translucent powder. Any translucent powder from any drugstore. I don't pre-numb the brows before the procedure. Okay, so you should also know that there is no one way, one correct way of eyebrow tattooing, and you should just follow all the basic informations or basic aspects when it comes to eyebrows pigmentations. Okay, so just follow the basic rules. And whenever I'm doing class at my academy or I'm doing workshop, and I always teach the same technique. I always tell my students the same rules. I tell them to follow the same rules, yes? and the eyebrows they create, each set of eyebrows is different, okay? So you as an artist, with knowing what's right and what's wrong, with having the knowledge, like the basic knowledge about the procedure, yeah, you will create the brows, but remember about the basics, okay? Please. And today I will show you the correct movement when it comes to shading, the correct movement when it comes to creating a line, contour, or outlining the brows. First rule: when holding your handpiece, what you should remember is to lose your thumb, okay? This is something that many artists forget to do. Your hand should be relaxed, and today this is something that we will practice. You should see space. I have my machine ready, but I will I always work with 1-point needle. Yeah. What is the depth, correct depth in eyebrows pigmentation? You always work with the tip of the needle, but the length of the needle, for me, the correct length of the needle is 1.7. And I want to show you, please give me a minute, how to hold your handpiece, but this is very important. I don't numb the brows before outlining. The procedure is not painful. Remember that you shouldn't work too deep, okay? And now, when we hold handpiece, okay, I'll put my glove on. All in black. We have men in black, woman in black. Okay, we hold handpiece, yes, and my thumb, or I don't think it's good I have black glove. Niedobrze? Okay, I will change my glove to pink one. Gabrielo, czy mogłabym Cię prosić o różową rękawiczkę? Tak. Ale nie widać przestrzeni pomiędzy palcami. You have to give me 1 second. But on the picture you can see round circles, yes? And this is the area, yes, that you should like concentrate on. So with the small finger, yes, I always say like you have to put the small finger, yes, and we stretch the skin with the small finger, yes, of your right hand. But it's not, you shouldn't just put your hand on your client, yes. You should always hold your hand on the small finger in order to be able to create this full movement. Okay? Is it clear or not really? Small finger, 90 degrees, and we work with middle finger and pointing finger upward and towards ourselves, okay? We can do one direction movement just towards ourselves. Okay, so for now I will just remove my glove because they cannot find the pink glove. Let's do it this way, without the glove. Guys, is it clear for now? Okay, so this is my hand. Okay, 90 degrees, handpiece, okay? And with my middle finger, I push the machine up, and with my pointing finger, I'm pulling machine back. My thumb is relaxed I could really work with my middle and pointing finger, so upward and backward. And you have to remember about placing your hand on your small finger. So we work that way, okay? Izabela, będziemy rozmawiali po polsku o godzinie 20, więc za 1,5 godziny zapraszam na live, będziemy wszystko omawiali po polsku. It's clear. Okay, so we're moving further. Kuba, możesz włączyć prezentację? As you can see on the slide, we work with pointing finger, middle finger, thumb is relaxed, okay? You have to remember about it. And when it comes to pigmentation, we have 3 different ways of pigmentation. You can work segmentally, as I did, and you can find videos on my YouTube channel. We work segmentally, starting from the bottom of the brow, moving upward, and then coming back down to the bottom of the brow in each segment. You wipe off the segment, and if the pigment is in this segment, you can move to another one. Yes? And then Insta brows, very popular technique on Instagram and on all social media accounts, when we have bottom and top contour, and we fill in this brow with the same movement, with pendulum movement, starting from the tail, moving upward. And by looking at the work of my students, looking at the work of artists on different social media accounts, what I noticed are that many of you don't really know what pigments you are using. Yes, you should know that there are tattoo pigments for eyebrows pigmentation and permanent makeup pigments for eyebrows pigmentation. Yes, and they heal differently, and you should work with this kind of pigments differently. Okay, with tattoo pigments, Tina Davis, Permablend, Eye Color pigment, Permablend pigment, you should use them carefully. Don't work too deep or don't work too hard. Yes, if you are heavy-handed, you should be very careful, because when you create contour and you create the contour on the top part of the brows and it's too dark, too visible, you might have problem, and your client will come back with a tattoo, not with permanent makeup on her eyebrows. Okay? And the last type of the pigmentation I forgot to tell you is the mix. So by looking at work of my students, students, artists on social media accounts, I decided to mix both of those techniques, because with segmental work, many students were telling me that they are losing the arch, that when they finish their work, arch is lower, or it's in different place than it was when they finish pre-drawing. Yes, so I will show you today also the mix technique of both segmental work and Insta brows. I always work with 1-point needle, I work with quantum machine, and I will show you later on the machine. Okay. Do you have your machines ready? Or not really? Or you just joined and you are curious what I will tell you today? Okay, now I would like to show you some easy exercises that will allow you to work correct. Yes, I will show you correct movement. You work steady, and this is very important. You cannot rush. Okay, do you have the machine ready? If not, you will be able to go back to this video later on, okay? Place your hand, as you can see on the video, small finger, loose thumb, and slowly moving to my right on the video with the same speed, with the same length of my movement. And as you can see at this movement, density of the movement is in the middle part of this movement, okay? The top and bottom part of the segment is very transparent, translucent. This is one of the exercises I would like you to do at home, okay? So play this video and try to follow my movement, my speed, okay? I do work at the same speed on all eyebrow. You can see that my movement is constant, and this is the exercise I would like you to do, really. And with this exercise, I would like you also, I would like to show you that when I wipe off this pigment after the first pass, the pigment is very light. This first layer is very light and very delicate, yes? Don't expect that when you wipe your first pass, eyebrow will be finished, okay? And if the pigment will be too dark, that means you work too deep. Widzę, że dużo dziewczyn dołącza również z Polski. Widzimy się o godzinie 20, więc już niebawem. I will talk about aftercare today as well. But first, I would like you to focus and concentrate on this movement. And what you should do, I will show you the size of the latex for practice that I have today. It's quite big because it's, what is the size? A5? What you should do? Yes? A4? A4, okay. And what you should do, you should practice this movement from one end of the latex till the end. Me, myself, even though we work very hard, we work 7 days a week, I always find some time to relax and to practice on latex. You should treat this exercise like yoga, okay? How many passes? It depends on the pigments that you are using, and also it depends on the color, the density of the color. Lighter pigment, more passes. Darker pigment, less passes. It also depends on the skin of your client. Yes, some of the skins require like harder work, harder work. Yes. And on some of the skins you have to work very gently, yes, airy. So it depends, but usually I tell my students, if you follow the same speed, you work with the same speed, you follow all the rules, 4 passes is a maximum. The procedure should take, with consultation and pre-drawing, I believe when you get when you're experienced, it should take from 2 hours to 3 hours, yes, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is the outcome, so you should make sure that the final results satisfy you and your client. You should never rush, okay? Don't limit yourself. Don't tell to yourself that, okay, I should finish this procedure in 2 hours. I have only 10 minutes left. Yes? Take your time. Take as much time as you need. I can see the question and I'll read it. I think this way you will understand my answer. How do you correct if you are putting too much pigment at the front of the segment and then you can see the different segments? So I always call it zebra brows. Yes, we see dark area, lighter area, darker area, lighter area. That means you don't your thumb is not relaxed. You hold your handpiece very tight. Your handpiece is not at 90 degrees. You don't stretch the skin, or you hold your handpiece like a pen. So this is not the correct way of holding your handpiece, okay? We don't hold it as the pen. And don't hold it so tight with your thumb, okay? Yes, there is a question about the pigments. You choose the pigments. The pigment should match the natural color of your client, the natural color of your client's hair. Yes. And it should match the appearance of your client. Of course, if your client asks you for black eyebrows, don't even dare to do it. Don't even try to do it. And you can see that I wiped off the pigment and I'm starting doing the second layer over the same area, yes? And you can see that the first pass is very transparent, translucent. I always work with the middle speed of my machine. I don't give you the number from the machine. Why? Because each machine has different speed. Okay, how do I fix zebra brows? Zebra brows. Good question. First of all, I practice on latex, and we don't create zebra brows on clients. If you practice on latex and you see your zebra brows, practice until you get the movement right. Okay, I know it might be difficult and it takes time, but believe me, it's worth it. So 90 degrees, working with pointing and middle finger. This is the only way to avoid creating zebra brows, because then you have to make the lighter area darker, you have to do many passes and you create tattoo instead of permanent makeup. How do I measure the length of my needle? On the machine that I use, I can see there is a measurement, okay? And I can see, I will show you. You can see, yeah. I can check the length of the needle. You don't see the length of the needle, but you can see that here you have the measurement on the handpiece, yes? And I always work with 1.77 needle length. Any questions for now? Of course. This is how I hold my handpiece. There was a question about different angle of my movement. Here, and you have space in between of my wrist and my little finger. Yes? Is this better? Any better? I have very thin hands. Upward, backward, upward, backward. Is this helpful? The best latex to practice on is thick latex, okay? Don't use very thin latex on which you can see the fully pigmented brow after first pass. Yes, it should look or feel similar or behave similar to the skin of your client. So 3, maximum 4 passes, you should see good outcome on this latex, okay? And it takes time. Check any tattoo stores in your local area. I don't pre-numb because first pass doesn't hurt, okay? And I start to pre-numb after first pass. Believe me, if you work airy and gently, your client doesn't feel pain. When practicing, you should change the needle when you touch the cap of the pigment or ring with the pigment, okay? Because your needle might bend. With the first pass, you don't lose the shape of the brows, and I don't change the slide on purpose. I want you to always be able to go back to this video and follow my movement, yes? So your movement is constant and slow, and you don't rush, okay? And you can see, look at this second pass. The middle part is darker, but the top and bottom part is light. I don't rub the color in like after the microblading. I don't rub the pigment in the brows like many artists do after microblading procedure. I don't see the point of doing that. I always work at 90 degrees, that's right. And with this angle, I notice that I don't get ashy brows. I do use anesthetic for an open skin, and for an open skin, I use blue gel. And what you should remember is that you shouldn't use too strong anesthetics. If your client feels the pain, that means you're doing something wrong. Of course, some of the clients might, they feel the pain sensation, some of the clients might feel the pain more, yes, but usually, of course, we open the skin, so it hurts, but it shouldn't hurt too much, okay? Don't play with different kind of anesthetics. As linergists, we shouldn't use anesthetics. So I use blue gel. And you can also use TAC 45. Yes, we will save this live on my channel. With permanent makeup, I'm trying to teach my clients that they should do 1, maximum 2 procedures within a year and a half, okay? We should remember that it's not tattoo. we should remember that it should enhance the beauty of your client, and it shouldn't look fake. The client should look very natural and soft in the morning without any makeup on their face. Wiele dziewczyn z Polski. Widzimy się za godzinę. Zaczynamy wszystko wtedy w języku polskim. So, with the exercise you see on the screen, you can practice movement, which should be very constant. Yes, we move in the segment very slowly, starting from the beginning, and you should really finish it at the end of your latex. It should be your homework, and it should take about 2-3 hours every evening, okay? With this movement, you can create perfect lips, you can create perfect eyeliner, perfect shaded eyeliner, okay? My channel, you mean my channel on YouTube? You can put my surname and name and you will find it. Many questions. I know you want me to move on, but I want you to always be able to go back to this exercise, as I told you before. So we have to wait for a minute, and we will move to discussing each technique. Panie Kubo. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you subscribe to my channel. I'm not sure how many of you followed or watched my every video that I have on my channel. But I hope that many of you know already segmental work, yes? Second technique we will discuss today is Instabrows. And with Instabrows technique, what we have to do is we have to create contour on the bottom, and we start creating the bottom line and then tail and beginning of the brow. You have to check the pressure, density of your line after each segment, okay? As you saw on this video, and if you look at this contour, the line is very gentle, very soft, and the line contour should be visible only to you, okay? After the pigmentation and when eyebrows are healed, contour shouldn't be visible, okay? Is that clear? Creating eyebrows with each technique, like with segmental, we work segmentally. But when creating Instabrows, we have to fill in the brow. And we fill in the brow with segments, okay? Starting from the bottom, moving upward. You can move to another segment when previous segment is pigmented enough and contour is not visible, okay? As you can see on the video, look at last segment of the brow. Contour is not visible. Is that do you understand that? Is everything clear for you so far? I want to give you so much information, and hopefully you do understand everything I say. There are so many of you. I work with 0.3 needle, so just like general traditional needle, 1-point needle. Hi Beatka, and hello everyone who is joining this live stream. Okay, we will move forward. And now, mixed technique. So we mix segmental work and we mix Instabrows technique. Yes? We create the bottom of the brow with contour. We mark the arch and tail with the line. And the top line we also enhance with shading. Okay? Remember that you should check the line step by step. And if the line is not visible, make sure you go over the same spots one more time. Look at the way I hold handpiece, look at the way I stretch the skin, and look at the way, look at the contour, like it's very light and very delicate, yes? And look, mogę dać pauzę? Yes, okay. I paused the video. Look at the arch. We start to mark the arch, but few millimeters like before the arch, yes, in front of the arch. Okay? So we want to make sure that you don't lose your arch during the pigmentation, like some of you do when using when doing only segmental work. Yes, it's very important. Look at the way I stretch the skin. Look at my small finger. I pull the skin downward. Downward. I'm sure you understand, okay? I stretch the skin, and mainly with my pump, I pull the skin down, okay? You don't have to stretch the full eyebrow. You have to make sure you stretch the area that you work on, okay? So you can see, here was my arch, but I marked the contour before that point, yes? And I'm checking my contour. If there is any gap, fill in the space, missing area. And now I have to mark my top part of the brow. In previous technique, I just did the contour, but we know the top part has to be very light. So with this technique, we enhance the top part with pendulum movement, yes? And we also check segment by segment. I don't move like further if I don't have if I don't outline this part of the brow, yes? If I don't mark this part of the brow with this pendulum movement. and I mark beginning of the brow. And now we have 3 types of movements, and this is something that you have to remember and you have to understand. And now I think that I have to put on my gloves, and I would like to show you each movement, okay? All of these movements are correct. And if you attend any of the classes, any of the courses, and one of the teachers or artists will tell you that one of these movements is not correct, believe me, they are not right, or they never tried this movement. All of them are correct, and to be honest, we use all of them, 3 of them, when we create eyebrows. Let me pour some pigment. Are there any questions? No. Okay. So. As I told you before, 1.7, the length of the needle. Don't really see the length of the needle. And we will practice. Movements. Do you have your machines ready? And now, we dip in only the tip of your needle in the pigment cup, ok? To jest bardzo ciemno, nie? Czy mi się wydaje, nie? Ok. Czekaj, nie umiem sobie poradzić. Ok. Clean the tip of your needle. And now, 90 degrees. And this is movement towards ourselves. Okay, so the needle is out of the skin. We touch the skin and it's out. We touch the skin and it's out of the skin. The common mistake is when you try to, you hold your handpiece very tight and you try to do this kind of movement. This is not right. It's not correct, okay? This way you create your zebra brows. Yes? One more time. With the middle finger up and back. And this is the exercise I showed you before, the movement. We scratch the skin, okay? And this is something you should see on your latex and on the skin of your client. And now, upward. With this movement, usually we finish the beginnings of the brows. But you can also fill in the brow with this movement. in one direction movement, upward. Yes? And now, pendulum. We work up and down, up and down. Your thumb is relaxed, okay? So it's up. I'm out of the skin, out of the skin. Here is space between my pointing finger and thumb, okay? Look at the where I hold my handpiece as well, yes? Clear? If we look at this movement, at these segments, you can see that the top part of each segment is very transparent and only the middle part is darker. And when you want to continue the movement, each segment, yes, what you should do, you should always start at the end of this movement and slightly drag the movement on the previous one, so you don't get any spot, any zebra effect. You see? Same. Upward movement. And pendulum. Out of the skin, in the skin. Yes? Questions? I'm so happy that there are so many of you. I didn't expect that. I hope that I will see beautiful eyebrows after this live session. For latex, good quality latex, you should look at any tattoo stores, okay? Do we understand 3 types of movement? Yes? Do you understand, guys? Or you practice? Okay, we're moving to the next slide. Very often you ask me how to finish beginning of the brows, yes? You should remember that you can use two of these movements to finish the brows, but you can also finish the brow with dots. But you have to remember that with dots, you have to build the density from the bottom of the brow going upward, yes? And dots should be very shallow and very transparent, translucent. Okay, so with dots, you should place plenty of dots, but very gently. We wipe. Very gently. It takes a time to create beautiful, soft looking beginning of the brow. Remember to place more dots on the bottom of the brow. Don't place them close to each other on the top of the brow and at the beginning, just right at the beginning. Look how many times I go over the same area. Is it clear? You should find some time to practice, to take your latex, to take your machine, 1-point needle, pigment, save some time, play one more time this live. Okay. And this is how we create beginnings, very soft. And very light. Yes? Is this clear? It's clear. Next step. Next slide. We have 3 types of lines in permanent makeup. All of them are correct, okay? You can use all of them when you want to outline the brow, when you want to outline the lips, when you want to create eyeliner, or when you want to outline eyebrows, outline eyebrows. So we have lips, eyeliner, and eyebrows. Yes, and I will show you all 3 types of lines that you can create. If clients bleed, yes, you are working too deep, definitely. So work very shallow, gently. I will show you very good exercise with a balloon. Yes, and you will see how carefully and you trying to touch the balloon, yes, because you are scared that it will explode, yes, yeah, I will show you. And this is how you should practice your pressure. I'm using middle speed of the machine. Okay, so we place now different rule. We hold the handpiece not with 90 degrees, but I would say with 80 degrees. The small finger, as you can see, it's not what? It's not there. And we're trying to create the line by dragging the line very slowly, and we hold handpiece very tight with your thumb, okay? Very tight. And slowly. Constant movement. We are out of the skin and gently we are getting in the skin of your client, okay? We don't do something like this. Very often the common mistakes I can see that beginners make is placing the needle and then dragging it in the skin. This is mistake, okay? You have to go in the skin lightly, be very gentle, okay? Remember that line shouldn't be visible and very dark, and your client should never bleed when you do outlining, okay? When you outline the lips or you outline whatever, yes? It should be very thin. And this was our continuous movement. And now backward, forward movement. Needle is in the skin, but we go in the skin very gently again. Okay? And you see the density of this line. The line is darker because we are going backward, forward, yes? It's more dense than the first line because here we had only one pass. And now, bookmark movement. So, we are out of the skin, we do line and we go out of the skin. Then we are going back on this line, over the line, again out of the skin. Over the line, out of the skin. Over the line, out of the skin. Over the line, out of the skin. 3 correct movements in micropigmentation. Is it clear? Should be clear. And now, when you do permanent makeup, Można prezentację? Yes. When you do permanent makeup, you can either work alternately, or you can finish one brow and then work on another brow. But if you decide to finish one brow and then work on another brow, on the second brow, remember to put or apply small amount of Vaseline on finished brow. Why? Because by the time you finish second brow, the first brow will become darker. Yes, the skin starts to heal, so the color looks darker. Okay, appear darker. You have to also remember to check both eyebrows at every stage of the procedure. When you outline the brow, you ask your client to sit up, you check the length, you check the symmetry, and this is the time when you can correct any mistakes. Okay, then you do the first pass on both brows. Again, you ask your client to sit up, you check if there are many mistakes. Yes, hopefully you won't see any. Okay, and you repeat this until you finish the whole pigmentation. Why? Because the common mistake is when you finish one brow, then you only focus on the second brow, your client sit up and one brow is thicker than the other. Okay, and then you have to add thickness to the brow that is thinner. Yeah, so you have to control your work at every stage of the procedure. And now I believe this is your or my favorite part. Discussion on many forums. Photos. Photos is your free advertisement. This is something that you should focus on. Sorry, I will take the gloves off. This is the picture I use in my presentation during my courses and during workshops worldwide. And on the slide you can see the same girl, same eyebrow, and 3 different pictures. Yes? And I just hold my phone at a different angle. And here I will give you a small tip. Okay? You should always, I will take my phone. Before I will tell you how I hold my phone, on the first picture, if you would post this picture on any social media accounts, they might tell you that the tail is lower than the bulb. Yes, so look at the perspective. Yeah. Always take hundreds, dozens of pictures of your client before the procedure, after pre-drawing, and after the procedure. And small tip, let's say this is my client, okay? And this is my client's head. Usually you stand from this side of the bed and you hold your phone like this. Never do that. And here are the examples. Usually most of the pictures I see on social media or on Instagram, yes, are like on the left side of the screen. Wait a second. Yeah. And look how Ada looks on both of the pictures. Yes? I told you at the beginning that you have to build the trust between you and your client, and the photos are the part of your procedure. Yes? You always have to take them to have your documentation, yes, and proof at any case, in any situation. So what you have to do is you cannot hold your phone like this, but you have to stand nearly behind the client and hold your phone with this angle. Ask your client to bring the chin up, okay? Jaki czysty ekran. How clean is my screen? Sorry. Okay, looks better now. So you hold your you hold your phone this way, okay? That way. Always remember to clean your camera. Very often girls tell me, okay, Paula, but my phone is not good and I cannot take good photos, and then we clean camera and photos are perfect. So always clean your camera. And the rule number 1 is to stand just behind the client, on the side of the client, phone turn this right direction with this angle, yes, chin of your client up, yes, so the face looks very nice. Hiszki haszki. And now yes, I hold handpiece at 90 degrees, at 80 degrees, and 90 degrees when I'm creating lines. Okay, let's talk about correcting or photoshopping your work. This is where magic happens, okay? Download all 3 applications on your phone, and I will show you a few small tricks that will help you to keep your photos clean. I know that very often my students, artists, look at work of another artist and they wonder how they take these beautiful photos and how the skin of their clients is so clean and so nice. And this is the answer. I give you the answer and I'm giving you my hand. I'm giving you all the information that you need to create, first of all, beautiful work with all the movements and aspects that we already discussed during this live and during all my previous videos on YouTube. But I never talked about photoshopping work, and now I will show you the magic, okay? I took video of my screen. Wait. I start, this is photo of my client, and I straight after the procedure, so it's before any correction. Client is beautiful, as you can see on the photo, and there is not much to do. And we use Made To application. You choose the photo that you want to edit, okay? And in this application, we choose firm. You can see that we have different size of this tool, yes? I usually use this 3rd round to size, yes? And now, zoom in your picture and remove any imperfection of the skin of your client. But very gently. If you missed shading or any tips that I already shared in this video, remember that you will be able to re-watch it again, because we will save it on my YouTube channel and on Facebook. And you can see that with my finger I slightly remove all the imperfection from the forehead of my client, yes? By zooming in the picture. of course, after the procedure, I put makeup for my client. So it would be good if you have any like 3 or 4 different shades of concealer and foundation at your studio. Yes. Small error. My battery died. Yes, we forgot to put my computer on charger. Przy stoliku tam jest ładowarka. We put makeup on our client's face, yes? We put foundation, we put concealer, so they feel comfortable and confident when they leave your salon, yes? I'm really grateful and thankful for all your comments, and I'm really also grateful that you take your time to stop by and to watch this live. And I truly believe that you learn a lot from this live session, and not only from different videos on my channel as well. Okay, we are back, and now no, this one. One more time, made to application, we choose firm, but I will try to go a little bit. Look how much it takes to remove any imperfection from the skin. Of course, she looks perfect already, but you can make your photo look even more beautiful, okay? Never ever Photoshop your work area, but make sure your client look beautiful. This way, if she likes the picture you posted on your social media accounts, she won't mind to share it on Insta story or her social media accounts, and she will be even willing to send it to her friends to show how good you are, yes? And look, can you see before, after? Yeah? And now I save the photo, and I will stop for a second. I wasn't sure what to do with my beautiful client, because she doesn't need any correction. But if your client knows it's not straight, or if she complains about her forehead size, or if she tells you that she doesn't like something in her appearance, tell her that you will correct it, okay? She will really appreciate that, and she will feel more comfortable when you tell her that you will take pictures, yes? And when you take pictures, always chin up. In Made to application, with you can play with different tools, really, yes? And now I'm trying to smooth the area in between the brows, also by gently going over the area I want to correct. I don't put makeup on the tattooed skin. I put makeup on the face of the client, and this is huge difference, yes? I don't place anything on treated area, only around the area. With this application you can also crop the picture, and you can also change the perspective of the picture, yes, with this rectify option, and you can see on the video. And now we choose coś zrobiłam. Sorry. Now we choose edit option, and in edit option here on the screen you can see edit option, yes. We can play with contrast of the photo, highlights and shadows. If you have shadows on one side of the face of your client, you can change it or slightly make it lighter by using this tool. You see? With temperature of the photo, very often when you use Samsung for taking photos, photos are coming or turning out very reddish or very warm, yes? So with temperature in this application, you can reduce the level of red, yes? And by doing this, you will also reduce the redness around the brow area. And now, some of you might think that this photo is already finished. No, I use, like you saw on first slide, I use 3 different applications, sometimes even 4. And guys know the magic now. Yes, I saved this photo and now I change the application to Facetune, okay? We are in Facetune now with the same photo, yes? And in this application, you have the tool, it looks like toothbrush, yes? You can whiten teeth of your client if needed, but I also use it to whiten eyeballs of your client. Sorry. Zoom in the picture. And whiten eye area. But don't go too crazy, because sometimes when I share my tips and tricks on how to edit photos, then I look at the pictures of my students and clients look very like fake. Yes, the skin should have a texture still after you edit photos. And also be careful with whitening the eyeballs of your client. We have a shadow in our eyeballs naturally in eyes area. That makes sense. And now, here you can also see details tool. With detail tool, you can enhance the eye color even more, or if your client wear any jewelry, you can also bring the color up. I don't know, yeah, I hope you understand. Look Can you see how eyes changed? And I smooth the skin because I can still see any, like, some imperfection on the skin. And of course you are doing this with your finger, yes? Zoom in the picture. Yes? I will try to upload different before and after effects or results on my Instagram as well. So I would be happy if you follow my Instagram. I'm trying to upload pictures and IGTV videos as often as I can, and also Insta story. But now I will also try to upload some different before and after transformations just for you, so you will get to know application better. And now, Kuba, mogę cały ekran? Jest cały? Dobra. Now, on the screen, one more time, you can see all the tools I used in Facetune. Details, we enhance every small detail, especially eyes of your client. Eyelashes, hair, gently tap on any jewelry your client has. With Whiten toothbrush tool, we use this tool to whiten eyeballs and teeth of your client, but also very gently. Yes? And smooth the skin. Use this tool gently and don't make your client look fake. Remember that skin has its texture, okay? For again, for made to application, slim tool you can use to slightly straighten nose of the client, make the forehead smaller, add volume to the hair. You can slimmer the face of your client. With enhanced tool in edit section, you can change the temperature of your photo, remove any shadow, add a little bit of contrast. You can also crop the photo and change the perspective of the photo. Yes? With firm tool, you can remove any pimples, hair or skin imperfection. When you are taking photos of the lips of your client, remember to remove any hair in the lip area and also in the nose of your client. Yes? And edit, yes, we change the perspective of the photo and we crop it and rotate it. Any questions? I know it was a fast live session and I really hope that you understood everything, all the information I shared. You have last 10 minutes to ask any questions regarding the procedure. Of course, feel free to email me, message me, leave comments under videos, message me on Instagram or Facebook if you have any questions. You can send me your work. I receive tons of emails daily, and very often you tell me that you've spent lots of money on your basic training course, and that you are not happy, you don't know where to go and how to start your business. With all the information I shared today, plus with all the videos that you have on my YouTube channel, you can easily practice at home, and you can easily create beautiful shaded brows. But please take your time, go through this video one more time, practice pendulum movement, practice upward movement, practice movement towards yourself, practice 3 different types of lines. Yes, now it's up to you. I'm trying to share all my knowledge. I'm giving you the information that I share with my students during classes at my academy or during workshops. Yes, I also know that what's my YouTube channel? If you put my surname Osinkowska in YouTube, możesz głośno. Tak, in YouTube channel, then you can find my channel. Yes? Okay, what is the recommendation for aftercare? For aftercare, first 3 days, we don't apply any cream over the eyebrows. First 2 days are very important. Your client has to wipe off the brows a little bit harder than on the 3rd or 5th, 4th day. Yes, we have to remove any lymph, yes, that stays on the skin. So slightly harder, they wipe off the brows in the morning and in the evening, okay, twice a day for first 3 days, and they don't apply any product. On the 4th day, they start to apply twice a day Bepanthen in the morning and in the evening. But you have to tell your client to wipe off old layer of Bepanthen before they apply new layer of Bepanthen, okay? And they should use Bepanthen for next 2 weeks. Scalp should be very small, yes? Eyebrows shouldn't scalp really. And of course color will be lighter, about 30 to 50% depending on the color you used and number of layers and type of the pigments. Any questions? They cannot go sunbathing or sauna, swimming pool for the next 4 weeks, but they can go to the gym after 2 days after the procedure, yes? On the same day, not really, but after 2 days, yes, they can go to the gym. I never had problem with the healing process because of the gym. Okay, if there are no questions, yes, they can wash with water or antibacterial soap. Both of them are good. Okay, guys, so it was very fast live session for me, because usually guys are laughing. Yes, they didn't believe we will close this first part in 2 hours time. I'm very happy that we did it today, and I'm looking forward to receiving all the messages with your questions and pictures of your eyebrows, yes, and with latex. If you will have any problems with practical parts, let me know. Like I told you before, you can follow my Instagram and send me private message on Instagram. But before we finish, I would also like to remind you that you can sign up for one of my classes worldwide for the first time, and we are super excited. You will be able to join my workshops in USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, London. Yes, we start in September, and I would like to play a short video from my workshops in Poland, and at the end of this video you will see the dates for upcoming classes. Okay, I'm back. I will show you the dates now on the screen. And what? Thank you so much for being with me for the last 2 hours. And I will wait for your work, as I told you before. And hopefully I will see you during one of the classes worldwide, where I will be able to help you with your movement, and we will work together to get rid of your bad habits. And I will teach you ombre brows technique and smudge proof lips technique. All the information about the classes you can find on my website, okay? Of course, together with the prices and all the information how to save your spot. In some of the places you'll be also able to attend class where we practice not only on latex but also on models. I hope you enjoyed this live session. I would like to hear your opinion, and I would like to know what you would like to watch next. What are your biggest problems when it comes to pigmentation or running your own business? Thank you so much one more time. It's time to switch languages. Now time for Polish language only. I love you so much, and wish you only positive vibes in your life. Kisses. See you on the next one.